Oh, hey, I'm upside down. Maybe I should just teach that one. Alrighty, here we go. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Missing you. Kind of bummed that we're still doing this for another week. Anyway, we are going to be doing this. It is Chapter 8, Lesson 5. So here we go. Time to the hour analog clock. So that is the clock like we have in the classroom with hands and... Oh, also, will you guys make this? So if you haven't made that, pause and go make it. I put a little fastener. You might need help, and you might need to have your mom or dad or whoever's helping you poke a little hole before it goes in. It's a little bendy, the fastener. Okay, I colored mine. You don't have to. I just have a little extra time on my hand right now. Okay. So our question is, how do we determine length and time? And right now we're working on time. What is the total number of frogs? Let's see. So we'd have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So let's see. We'd have 16 frogs. How many groups of 10 are the number 16? 1. And how many ones? I don't know why it won't let me draw that 6. Anyway, 6. So there's 6 ones and 1 10. About how many cubes long? Guess, then measure and revise if needed. So let's see. We would have, what would you say? 1, 2, I have some. Let's measure it. You have some in your packet. So I'm going to measure it on my paper here. So we're on the inside. Nope, no we're not. No we're not. We are on the review right now. I would say 1. Would you say 1 if you had to guess? Now I'm going to measure with my cubes. And it is 2. So I guessed 1. And the measure is about 2. Then we have this carrot. What would you say? If that is 2, then 3? 3? Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me write down there. But anyway, 3. Let me measure now. Ah, we were right. About 3, a little over 3. So let's check. Oh, it says C students work. We're just doing a Common Core check. Here's our quick check. Test practice. Mario picks a bean that is 6 cubes long. Anna picks a bean that is 4 cubes long. How much shorter is the bean than Anna picked? So to find that out, we have to subtract. So we'll start with a whole, which is 6, and then subtract the part, which is 4. So 6 minus 4 is, drum roll, it's 2. You guys are so smart. It's 2. How do you read an analog clock? Well, this is an analog clock, and there are 24 hours in a day. So for the whole day, this will go around twice. There are 60 minutes in an hour, and this is the hour hand. And there are 24 hours in a day, 12 hours for AM and 12 hours for PM. So this is called the hour hand. The shorter one is called the hour hand. It is like the one we have in the class, except our class clock has also a second hand, and we don't have a second. We're not working on the second hand right now. So, the time that Laura goes to school and leaves school are shown on the clocks below. Write the times. So we have the hour hand is pointing to the 8, and that is the time that you say first. You always say 8, the hour hand. Sorry, you always say, let me write. It's not going to let me write. Anyway, the time is 8, and then you put dot dot. And then if the minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12, that's called o'clock. So this is 8 o'clock. She leaves school. Let's see if I can move my picture. She leaves school at 3 o'clock. So we would write, and still it won't let me write here. I don't know why down below it won't let me write. We would write a 3 dot dot to separate the hours and the minutes, and then 0 0 o'clock. Oh, so here we have how we write it, 8 o'clock. And then what time does Laura go to school? 3 o'clock. Okay, Drew starts hiking and finishes the hike at the times shown. Write the times. So here we say the hour hand, the hour first, 2, and then it points straight up, o'clock. And then he finishes hiking at 7 o'clock. So that is the analog clock. Then we write it 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Okay, now we're on to the paper I'd like you to finish with me. This is in your packet. Explore and explain. Don't forget to write your name on your paper so that when you turn it in, I know who's turning in. Here's our directions. Use this to model, so what you made. The times given. Robbie has band practice that starts at 3 o'clock. Show that time on your clock. So here's your little clock. And we're going to use hour hand I colored it green. So we're going to make it say 3. Point it right at the 3. And now we need to say o'clock. So we'll point the minute hand right up to the 12. 3 o'clock. And then band gets over at 5 o'clock. Let's show that on our clock. 5 o'clock. Band practice gets over at 5 o'clock. So the only thing we need to do is move our hour hand. Oh, that was crooked. To 5. And then straight up o'clock. Show that time on the clock, which we did. Now trace the hour and minute hand with your pencil. So we're just going to trace it to show 5 o'clock. And the little clock says, time flies when you're having fun. You ever heard that saying? Time does fly when you're having fun. Okay, so turn your paper inside out, and we'll find the see and show. There are 2 kinds of clock. This is an analog clock. The hour hand is shorter. It points to the hour. The minute hand is longer, and it points to the minute. The hour hand is on the 3. It is 3 o'clock. So here on this page, on our page, the hour hand is red, and the minute hand is blue. So you're just going to go ahead and trace out that 3. And that's all there is to that. It is 3 o'clock. Now, use the virtual manipulative clock to show the time. Tell what time is shown. So here we have, virtual manipulative clock. I'm just going to use this. So here we have the hour hand pointing to the 9, and the minute hand once again straight up, so that would be 9, and it already has it written for you, o'clock, the word o'clock. And we'd show that on our clock practice on your clock. 9 o'clock. Now, on number 2, we have the minute hand pointing to the 2, and then straight up, so that means o'clock, 2 o'clock. So we'll show that on our clock. 2 o'clock. Now we have 11. You can see it doesn't let me write down that low, so I'll write it up high. 11 o'clock. So I'm going to show that on your clock. Lots of practice here, right? 11 o'clock. And then number 4, where you have the hour hand pointing straight to the 6 and then straight up to the 12. So that will tell us the hour is 6 o'clock. Let me write down that low, so we'll write it up here. 6 o'clock. Okay, awesome. Now we'll go on to our we'll go on to your on my own. So you're doing the same thing we just did, writing the hour. O'clock is what we're working on now. So go ahead and do that. Pause me so that you'll get some time to complete those. And then we'll do the back page together. Okay, last we have the problem solving, which is the back page. Solve, write the time, draw the hands on the clock, use your clock to help. So mine says virtual manipulative clock, but we're just using our little paper clock. Ava gets home at 3 o'clock. Ava is my daughter's name. Ava gets home at 3 o'clock. Evan gets home 1 hour later. What time does Evan get home? So Ava gets home at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Evan, let's see, Evan gets home 1 hour later. So we would just, so the minute hand would go all the way around. And then this would move 1 to show 4 o'clock. So that's what time Evan would get home, at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Now let's write it on the analog clock. This is tricky. So a shorter hand for the hour hand, and then a longer hand to show the minute hand at the o'clock position, 4 o'clock. Roger begins reading books at 7 o'clock. He reads for 1 hour. I hope you guys are reading. What time does he stop? So 7 o'clock. Please show that on your paper clock. 7 o'clock. Put it right at the 7. He reads for 1 hour, which means this would go all the way around. This would stop here. And it would go all the way up, and that would be, nope, sorry, not 7 o'clock, we already showed that. It would be 8 o'clock. 1 hour later would be 8 o'clock. So we will go ahead and write in the 8 o'clock, and then draw in the hands. So minute hand first, pointing to the hour, and then o'clock, meaning straight up at that 12. That arrow, there we go. Okay, next we have our hot problem. Hot means higher order thinking, so this one takes a little bit of time to really think about. Antonio tried to set the hands on the clock for 9 o'clock. Tell why Antonio is wrong and make it right. So I want you to use full sentences and write about what did he do wrong. Does that say 9 o'clock on that clock? All right, I hope you guys are having a great day. Please don't forget to use complete sentences. Okay, you're great. I hope you're doing well. Miss you guys. Bye.